Hey Stampers, Diane Dimich here with ddstamps.com, and today I'm here to show you how to do this shaker card. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a great little card. It's easy to do, and I show you how to do it with the framelits. And I used a new stamp set from Stampin' Up! Called Nature's Perfection, which is one of our celebration stamp sets from 2015. It's only available during March of 2015, and it's free with a $50 purchase. So let's get started. To begin with on this card, the supplies that I used, I've got them all cut here. This is just a scrap piece of craft cardstock that I'm going to cut a frame out of. You're going to use a base of Early Espresso is this one, and it's 11 by 4 1/4, and it's scored in half, and so there's my card base. I've got a piece of craft cardstock, which is cut 4 by 5 1/4, a piece of fun foam, which you can pick up at any of your hobby stores, and this is 4 by 5 1/4, and then another piece of Early Espresso that's 4 by 5 1/4. So these three are all exactly the same size, and I'm going to show you why I do that. And then this piece here is a piece of window sheets, and it's 4 by 4. So to get started, what you're going to do is you're going to come in with your fun foam and your Early Espresso and just layer them on top of each other. And then you're going to come in with your Big Shot. This is the easiest way I found to do a shaker card using the fun foam, because not only does it give your card some oomph, but none of those little pieces are going to go flying anywhere, and they all stay right where you want them. So the circle die from the circle framelits, and I'm going to run that through. And because I'm going extra thick on that, I'm going to run it back and forth because I want it to cut all the way through that cardstock and the fun foam. And once I've done that, I'll pull this out, move this aside, and you'll see where we have the cardstock and then the fun foam. And those two pieces are actually just garbage. They can just be put aside. And then, I can put that aside. So those two pieces are done, like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come in with your piece of craft that's cut the same size. And on this one, I'm just going to take that frame and lay it down there. And a pencil. And I'm just going to lightly trace that line onto that cardstock, because I want to make sure when I stamp that I'm getting my stamps right in that line, because I want that to stick out a little bit. And so I'm going to come in with my Memento ink, and I'm going to use this flower stamp from that set, and I'm going to show you how to mask. So I'm going to use the flower, and I'm going to use the butterfly. And I'll tell you what I do. I take a Post-it note, just a regular Post-it note. You can pull it off. And when you stamp on the Post-it note, you want to stamp as close to the top as you can where that sticky part is. Stamp that, trim it out, and then you've got a mask that you can use with your stamps. And I did one for the butterfly too, and I just store mine right on top of my stamps so that I always know where they are. Now the key to masking is that you have to know which item that you want to be at the front. It's going to be a layering, so I'm going to put this butterfly in first. Stamp that butterfly, and then I'm going to pull off my mask and cover up my butterfly like that. And then come in with the flower. And I'm going to stamp one there. And I'm going to turn this a little bit and stamp one over here. And then I'm going to take that mask off. Oh, where it is? Oh, here. Okay. And I'm just going to line that mask up to the flower that I already, and go right over the top of the flower and the top of the butterfly. And then I'm going to come down with this other stamp of a plant. And I'm just going to go ahead and stamp these long wispies. And then when I get to that part, I'm going to pull that off, and I'm going to bring this over to this side and line that up. That's probably the hardest part. I didn't know how. There we go. Line that up. And then I can bring these flowers in this way. And then when you pull your mask off, you can see where the butterfly is in the front and the flowers are kind of behind it. I hope that you can see that. And then I'm going to come in with my blendabilities and color them. So let me move all this out of my way and I'll be right back. Okay, so to begin with, I'm going to come in and I'm going to color in my flowers. And to do that, I actually going to start this time with the darkest Melon Mambo and the bullet point. And I'm actually just going to put a little bit of that dark Melon Mambo. And I'm using craft ink, or craft cardstock. So it actually bleeds a little bit more, but I think it blends really nicely. And I'm just kind of tracing where the shadows would be of these petals. All the way around my flower. And then I'm going to come in with the medium color, and I'm going to use that bullet point, but this time I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of do some little wispies, feathering, just along where that darkest color was of Melon Mambo. And not too far up, but try to blend in that darkest color. And then last I'm going to come in with the lightest pink and just go ahead and blend in that color and take it to the end of the petal. So there's your pink flower. And then I'm going to come in with the yellow and do the same thing on the other flower. Then I'm going to come in with my reds and my oranges to do my butterfly. And for the butterfly, I'm actually going to start with the darkest color first of red cherry cobbler. And then just do a light line right down the middle. And then come in with my medium and drag that out just a slight bit. And then I'm going to come in with my medium orange. No, I want to come in with my lightest orange. And I'm going to come in from this other side and kind of pull that towards the middle where it will blend together. So I did my medium, and then I'm going to come in, or I did my lightest, and now I'm coming in with medium orange. And I'm just kind of pulling that light orange towards the red, and then pulling the red out towards the orange with that same marker. Kind of blending them together. And I'll just add some cherry cobbler to those tips. And a very light old olive to the middle of the body. And then last but not least, I'm going to come in and just do a couple of the stems here. Oh, I know what, that's something else I wanted to show you too. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of color to some of those stems. And then add just a little bit of yellow to the ends of some of these wispy flowers back here. And this does not have to be perfect. I'm just adding a little color just to give them some dimension. And these aren't going to show down here, so I'm not going to worry about those. The last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my lightest slate gray, smoky slate, and I'm just going to add a shadow. And this looks a little bold to begin with. So I'm just adding a little shadow to behind the flower. And then I'm going to come in with my color lifter and the bullet point, and I'm actually just going to drag that right out. And that just adds a little dimension, a little shading into the to your image. It just kind of gives it a little smoky background with some dimension, so I hope you can see that. Once you've got all that done, we're done with all these for now. What you're going to do is you're going to come in with these two pieces, and actually what's going to happen is your 4x4 piece of window sheet is going to get attached. And I'm just using snail, and all of my cards have held together great. So I'm just kind of going around that circle and then I'm coming in with my 4x4 piece of window sheet and lining that up right on the fun foam. And then you're going to take some more adhesive and you're going to add on the early espresso. And what you're trying to do, the main thing is to line up the inside circle. It's funny how it doesn't look like it's going to be the exact same. I wonder why that is. I must have stretched my fun foam a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to trim that off again with the scissor. I'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and trimmed that down. I'm hoping that this... Oh yeah, that works. Okay, so I went ahead and just trimmed that down. And now I do have this white edge along here on the fun foam, and it's not terrible, but if you don't like that look, you can come in with a marker. I'm just going to go ahead and just hit that edge and make it the dark brown as the cardstock is on the front. And then nobody will ever know it's there. The other thing is you could do this to the circle inside too. The circle inside here. But you'd have to do that before you put the window sheet on there. Now that I've got all that done, here is this piece, and this piece is ready to go on. But before I do that, I need to add some sprinkles. So I'm going to take some of our in color sequins and drop some of those on there. That's going to be part of my shaker card. You could also put in a little glitter if you had some, or sequins or whatnot. I'm going to add just a little bit of, not too much. You don't want too much of that glitter stuff. Get that all towards the middle. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your fun foam piece. And again, I'm adding snail to the whole thing. And this is going to match up with this piece. And get laid right on there. And there you have a shaker. That's how you do it. It's really simple when you do it this way. Again, I missed a little bit here, so I'm probably going to trim off that edge. I'll be right back. So there you have it. That's how you make the shaker. And then this actually is going to get attached onto here. I'm going to tie that ribbon around it like I did. So I tied the ribbon around it, and then I attached this piece to my front of my card. I'm going to go ahead and ink this up with StazOn and stamp the thank you right on that window sheet with the StazOn. And then that will just take a second to dry. One of the last things that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I made the frame that goes around the edge of my card there. So I'm going to come in with another scrap of craft ink, or craft paper, and again with the Big Shot, the platform and a clear plate, my piece of paper, I'm going to take the frame that I used to cut out my shaker card, that circle, and then the next circle larger than that. And line those up on my Big Shot. And then run those through. When I come back, I take these off. I've got a piece of craft and then my circle frame that I'm going to attach by just adding some snail around the edges and adding this right to the front of my circle there. And everything lines up perfectly because they've all been cut with the same framelit. And attach that down. And then this piece is attached to here, but first what I did on this one is I went ahead and tied a ribbon around it and then attached that piece to this card. Stamped and colored another butterfly and put it on the outside, and then stamped the inside. And I did a little more of the flower stamping. This is a piece of craft that's 4 by 5 1/4, so it framed it out very nicely. Anyway, that's how easy it is to make a shaker card using fun foam. I love this technique, and you have just enough lift on that fun foam that your shaker cards will work. So thanks. Hope you have a great day. And if you haven't already done so, you may want to visit my website, sign up for my newsletter, where I offer tips and tricks and techniques every week. Thanks and have a great day.